Okay, welcome to Impressions, the Internal Medicine podcast. We are back with a big one today. And boy, we have an episode for you. Justin, take it away.
Okay, so welcome to Impressions, hosted by yours truly, Griffin the Physician. So today we have a very special guest. This man single-handedly saved my career as well a couple of years back. So please welcome Edgar McLean. So a little bit more about him. He is a physiologist. He does cardiovascular research. This is the important one for these students. He's the head of MBBCH 1 and 2. He's the coordinator for it. And most importantly, going into the future, you're now an MC and public speaker. I've just been seeing on Instagram recently, so
my God.
this should be a very fun episode nowadays.
I thought that was under carpet.
Not anymore. We did our research, you know.
Man of many talents, right?
Yeah, I try.
How's the intro though?
The intro's good. I don't know how I saved your career though, but I don't know. I was just doing my job. Glad to have you back with us. It was sad to see you leave. Do they know where you went to?
Yeah, just for quick context, I went to Australia. Then I think I called him. I messaged you at 3 in the morning Australian time, so I think it was like normal 5 p.m. for you, just a standard Tuesday. And yeah, you just helped me get back into Wits, and now I'm here.
Back where you belong.
Back where I belong.
Awesome.
Best university in the world.
Awesome.
Well said. Well said. So what have you been up to recently?
Today we had a photo shoot, again because of what we tend to do with our media outreach for our research. I'm part of a group called ORAM. Don't ask me the full name, just know it's ORAM, and it's also under the AAF, that is Alphas and Alpha Ring Foundation. So they help with school outreaches, they help with talks currently because we are celebrating hypertension, World Hypertension Awareness. We're doing a lot of talks around hypertension awareness, around diseases like obesity and diabetes. That's what I've been doing since pretty much March. Yes.
Yeah. What inspired you to get into the cardiovascular research?
To be honest, lack of supervisors.
Lack of supervisors.
I didn't want to do it. So when I came to Wits for my postgrad, I was looking at plant or phyto medicine. That's what I wanted to do because that was my exposure in undergrad and honors.
Yeah.
So I looked at supervisors within Wits who could supervise that particular field of study. I found one, and it was August of that year. And he said, listen, I'm sorry, I don't have space now, but please go next door. I think they may have space. So I searched for the people next door, one of them being the late Professor Gavin Norton, may he rest in peace. I was like, Professor Norton, no ways. I'm not going to work with such a genius, man. He's an A-rated scientist in, again, physiology, cardiovascular physiology. But they had space for me in their research unit. Then it was called CPGRU. And I joined them to do my master's in physiology, cardiovascular research, and I fell in love. I was like, why was I afraid of this thing?
Yeah. The heart is the organ of love. So.
The heart is the organ of love. Sometimes when people ask me, what do you do? I say, I deal with hearts. If they break your heart, come talk to me. If your heart is not pumping regularly, come talk to me. So I deal with heart matters. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a very good turn of events considering you're going to be in plants.
I know, right? However, this is the part about life. Since I ran away from plants, now with the current research group that we're doing, they do have a focus that they're dealing with phyto medicine and how we can use either the food that we grow to help keep our bodies healthy, or how we can use some of them in our teas, how we can use some of them to deal with skin conditions. For example, back then when I was doing phyto medicine, I was looking at aloe vera and aloe marlotti and how the indigenous people use it for burns and other types of illnesses, and how we can sort of bring that scientific knowledge around that area of practice. Ran away from it, but it's back because in one of our recent career exhibition, that was the topic of discussion where we had to talk about aloe vera, its phytomedical effects, and how the community are using it and how we can use their knowledge to help us understand better the effects and why they're using it. So it's back. I guess it just wanted me to go a different route. It knew that come 2026 we'll be waiting for you.
Yeah,
That's great. And it's basically like you're combining all of your previous knowledge. It was basically a side quest for you to just, do everything else in cardio and also like bring in the plant research as well. So it's just like your life is just full of side quests, essentially.
Most definitely.
But like, that's like how such successful and knowledgeable individuals operate. They just like they take knowledge from different fields and they combine it and they just hyper specialize in what they're passionate about, and that's just so great.
Thank you so much. And I'm finding that a lot now with this awareness that we're doing around hypertension, around obesity, around diabetes, because I'd have a patient complaining that the hospital said I'm hypertensive. They always start with that. They said I'm hypertensive. I said, well, okay, let's take some measurements and let's look at where your BP is at. I remember recently a young lady I spoke to who is 31 years of age, who said, they said I'm hypertensive and I'm not. Her blood pressure was 157 over, I think, 90. And I said, well, you are hypertensive. So what I'm trying to get at is, as we're trying to sort of give advice, we also circle back to fatty medicine because I said, listen, what are you eating? Tell me about your eating habits. Okay, let's look at what we can incorporate into your diet. Let's bring in a bit more vegetables, a bit more fruits, and stuff that you can grow in your own backyard, because she is also from my village. I'm from Limpopo. So I said, we've got land, luckily for us, so you can grow your own plants. And so now we are bringing plant knowledge into dealing with her hypertension. She also happened to be diabetic. So you're right in that knowledge always comes back together. Nothing happens in silo. You may study in silo. You may say, I'm doing fatty medicine. You guys are studying to be doctors. I did physiology. But we're all talking about the same human body.
Yeah. It's amazing how the fields managed to integrate.
Yes.
I think just hearing the story, I think it also explains the curriculum change from like the old, we used to do pure chemistry, pure physics, pure bio.
Yes.
Now we have this integrated science course, as well as a lot of community work happening as well.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
getting involved in the community, getting to know the community,
Yes.
and focusing more on community medicine.
Yes.
Was that always a goal of yours to achieve?
No, again, things just happened by chance. So how I became to be part of uni is during my master's years, I was looking for a part-time job. So uni happened to have an opening for a student job who would be there part-time. I was an assistant at the time, just so I can make some money. We all understand the difficulties of being a student and trying to make it. So I joined them as a part-time student, and I just felt I belonged. And obviously, after I finished my master's, I went to my PhD. While still part-time with uni after my PhD, I went back to physiology because that's who trained me. I lectured for a few months, almost to a year, and then I went back to uni. So that's not my plan. I never imagined I would work for uni, but again, just that love of the human body, I guess it was meant for me to be at uni. So now with the curriculum, and you rightfully mentioned you were doing, or they did, not you, they did full chemistry, full biology, full physics. There was also psychology and sociology. So those elements are still there. Then now we're now doing them in the integrated course, which is integrated science for medical students. That is the ISMS course. So it integrates biology, chemistry, and physics. Why are we doing that? It goes back to, we may study in silos, but the human body does not operate in silos. So we're finding that students were struggling a little bit to see how to integrate biology, chemistry, and physics. Therefore, if we integrate it, we are now teaching you these disciplines at the same time showing you how physics affects chemistry and affects biology and how all of these are happening in the human body. So they're still there, the elements of physics, chemistry, and biology. The elements of sociology, psychology are also still there. They're now under a different course. It is called the Science and Art of Health and Learning. So in that course, you're smiling because you did the course. In that course, there is elements of sociology, elements of psychology. We're now bringing information literacy. We're now bringing a little bit around just understanding research and how to interpret data. Because we're also finding, as medical students, we're going to become medical doctors, and whoever's doing sciences out there, you need to know how to conduct research. You need to know how to interpret data and use it worthwhile. So that is what that course is bringing. Now the experimental part, the community outreaches, the CBO visit, we found it was lacking in year 1 and year 2. The most the students get to actually get out there and interact with the patients when they're in 3rd year, and maybe stage 3 or get 1. So we said, let's bring it a bit earlier for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, for them to actually see what they're studying about in the communities. The other reason, just so they actually understand that that is going to be their life. Because medicine is about you and the people. For those who are now in research labs like myself, there's a different type and inside of medicine, but the majority of physicians are at the community sites dealing with the patient that you learn about in textbooks. So we thought, let's expose them earlier on so they can determine if indeed this is the field for them. Secondly, so can appreciate what they're learning when they see it in the communities.
Yeah, it's like a very good 2 birds, 1 stone type of thing, because if you're meant to be in the field, it's always a good reminder why you chose the field. Otherwise, you're going to be overwhelmed by anatomy, overwhelmed by physiology. I'm sure you weren't one of the students overwhelmed by physiology, though.
No,
But if it's not meant for you, at least you know in year 1 and 2 that you could switch paths, rather
Most
than
definitely.
waiting a little bit too long.
yes.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, just to lighten the mood, let's do a quick icebreaker segment.
All right.
We're gonna do quick fire questions. Just first thing that comes to your mind, you just answer that.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the big question, the big question everybody wants to know this weekend. The UCL finals tomorrow, UEFA Champions League. I'm not sure how much soccer you watch.
Why can I be so mean to you? I'm not a soccer fan. I don't know soccer.
If physiology was a person, what personality would it have?
Physiology, with all the systems that we have,
I know it all.
definitely.
A jack of all trades.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah, just a
No
lot of
offense to
systems
more
that
men
always
than
work.
anatomy.
Yeah.
I still love them.
I think you personify physiology very well then. Sounds like you're describing yourself.
I
Oh,
mean,
listen, when I was studying it, I remember when you get to the biochemistry stuff, it was a bit challenging at first. And then I said to myself, this stuff is happening in me. All that I'm learning from Krebs cycle to glycolysis and everything, I said, this is happening in me. That's when I started personalizing everything. Even when we got to learning about insulin and how it functions, I was like, this is happening in me. And I think once, for me, it may not work for everybody, but once I did that, it just made it so fun.
Yeah.
For example, each time I get the flu, I sort of, want to go to, I wonder what happened. Okay, so this might have happened in the body, whatever. Or also, if I'm going to have a running stomach, I go back to my food. What did I eat that might have caused me to have a running stomach? And then what happens with a running stomach, like physiologically, what's happening with my digestion, what's happening with water having to be pulled in your digestive system, all of those things, the body trying to flush whatever bug I might have caught. Just wants to personalize and personify the topics and the units. Oh, that's very easy.
Yeah, it's a really cool subject to learn. This is on camera as well. Physiology is my favorite subject.
Oh, yes, yes, it is.
By far, by a country mile.
Yes.
I've started last one. Would you rather, and then maybe we could do a follow on from this.
Okay.
So firstly, would you rather have a student that works 12 hours a day or a student that maybe does 4 hours a day? And considering if they get the same marks, how would you explain the discrepancy in marks?
Okay, so 12 hours versus
Let's go 4.
4 hours. Okay, we're going to be a bit unfair because all of us are different. For example, don't ask me to weight lift anything. I don't lift weights, right? So if we go to the gym and we are asked to lift, let's say 60 kilograms, the two of you might do that with more ease, and I might have to cough a few times before I can actually get to the rep. So 8 hours versus 4 hours depends on our abilities. So some people grasp stuff easily. You'd hear students say, I'm a visual learner, I'm an auditory learner, and all those things, but let's not talk about that. But just how much time and effort it takes for me to understand something versus how you understand it. So maybe I need 12 hours for me to understand head and neck. Maybe Edgar needs an hour to understand CVS, just because, again, I love it and just it excites me. So I'm excited to find out what's happening within that rotation or that block. For someone else, the 12 hours they need is maybe the jargon. I mean, when you're doing anatomy, first thing they struggle with is the language of anatomy. So maybe they need more time to just grasp that.
Yeah.
But if we were to say both students are on the same level, understanding cognitive and everything, if they're on the same level, one that is spending 12 hours to understand, again, let's go back to head and neck. I would say somewhere they're wasting time. But because none of us are equal, we are going to take a different time to understand the topic. But if we're the same level, 12 hours, 4 hours, and then marks are not the same, we also have to look at how are you studying. And I say this when I meet students and we talk about study techniques and study tips and how to take exams. It always goes back to how are you studying, methods work for you, and how are you testing yourself. Because if I spend 7 hours trying to read a text, I'm probably boring my brain. The brain easily gets bored. The brain needs to be challenged. You always have to sort of elevate what you're studying. At the same time, if you're studying a complex topic and you already go in it preconceiving that it's difficult, you've conditioned your brain to say it's difficult, nothing's going to stick. So get yourself excited about stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get through them with much ease. And even the retention is important. Because again, how you study to remember, how you study to apply is also different. If I'm studying to apply principles of physiology, it does not matter that I can define what is hypertension. What matters is, can I identify the signs of hypertension in a patient who's presenting with such symptoms? Can I treat hypertension in different patients? Now, depending on whoever's watching and their level of understanding of cardiovascular physiology, treatment of hypertension is different depending on the patient that presents. For example, you and I would receive potentially different medication because you are Indian and I'm black. Again, we are told our bodies react differently to the type of medication. You see? So I need to know how to apply. But if I'm starting to remember what is hypertension, what is the definition of blood pressure, then I might spend 8 hours trying to, like a better word, cram the words and the definitions. But if I'm starting to understand and apply, maybe 4 hours is enough.
Yeah.
And then I can apply myself and get the marks I'm looking for. But just to speak about marks, because we are at a university. And as a student, I used to be fixated on marks. And I know we need a mark because you need to pass.
Yeah.
But it's not about the marks. It's about you demonstrating understanding. It's about you showing me that you are competent in doing patient history. You're competent in identifying patient symptoms and come up with a proper treatment plan for that patient. You just have to put marks because the curriculum requires you to pass.
Yeah. So following on from that then, would you say the best advice to find the high yield content would be more focusing on the application rather than the finer details?
Please, most definitely, the application. Because as we go higher up, especially in medicine and whatever degree that you're doing, whether someone is doing pharmacy or HSC, whatever, as you go higher up in the years, the higher years require you to apply more and more of what you've learned. That's why for medicine, the first 2 years are fundamental. We teach you the fundamentals of principles of biology, chemistry, and physics. You get to physiology at second year in anatomy and molecular medicine. Again, we're a bit more fundamental, but we bring a high level of application. You go into Camp 1, we still have a few fundamentals because of the other group that is joining the cohort, the camp students that are joining the cohort. But we're going a bit more deeper in now integration and also application. You go into Camp 3 and 4, that is pure application because you are almost in the hospitals, in the clinics. Whatever you're doing there is just applying what you've been learning. So it is really important to learn and study towards application and showing competence.
So focusing more on doing the job than just knowing the content.
Most definitely, yes.
Okay, so you've kind of explained your origin story of how you got into academia.
Yes.
My question is, what made you almost quit?
In academia, nothing.
Did you ever almost quit?
Nothing. I almost quit studying though,
How
but
come?
not in academia. So obviously when I moved to Wits, it was a different university, different field altogether, different environment, cultures and everything. And Johannesburg is a fast-paced city.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from the villages. So it was tough. Again, I mentioned how I joined uni because there was a part-time position for a student assistant.
Yeah.
So at some point, I did not have funding. And I had to feed myself. I had to pay for my fees. I had to pay for accommodation. So for me, those are the three things that almost made me quit. Not because I found the degree difficult, just because life was getting difficult. But I remember just saying to myself, I was walking down the matrix. For those who are familiar with Wits main campus, there is the matrix. I was literally walking down under the matrix and thinking to myself, I can't do this. This is too much. This is tough. But I thought to myself, if I go back, will I make a difference? If I live now at this moment, I don't have a master's degree, I'm still learning, will I make a difference in my life, the life of my family members and my community? And the answer was no. I will not be able to make a difference the way I want to make a difference. So I said, you know what? I'm going to stay on. If I die here, I die here.
Yeah.
And I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because trying and failing, I guess, is the same as not trying at all.
Exactly. I was like, I'm going to try and I'm going to fail, or I'm going to fail, I'm going to try again until I get it right. But in my space, in academia, in my job, I've never wanted to quit. Why? I learned early on, when I was still a student assistant, that we seldom do the same thing 3-4 times. It's always changing. Even now with the curriculum changes that we've made and we've implemented, there's always stuff that is happening that is new. You're always reviewing, you're always renewing, you're always evaluating, you're always measuring stuff. So because it's like a rotating wheel of new stuff all the time, there's always something new happening next week. So I find that exciting for me, and that keeps me going. So I never get bored.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then, just on that topic, then, since you're also like the coordinator of MBBTH 1 and 2, has there ever been a student story that breaks your heart that just didn't end up finishing because of external factors?
Yeah. Actually, maybe that's the difficult part about my job. Yes, there is the stress that comes with just running a curriculum with all the changes and I'm dealing with about 8 departments, if not 4 departments. So we've got science, we've got family medicine, we've got anatomy, we've got physiology, we've got molecular medicine. Within family medicine, I've got 4 courses there. So I'm dealing with a lot. I'm dealing with about 500 students. I'm dealing with faculty members. I'm dealing with the university members. I'm dealing with the MBBCH overall curriculum. So there's a lot of moving factors. But I find the thing that breaks my heart is student experiences. All of us have different experiences. I just told you how I wanted to quit, but I still stayed on. But there's people who are not afforded that opportunity to stay on because life gets more and more tougher for them, and the only resort left is just to leave the program. So really, every time for me a student leaves the program, it breaks my heart. I do a lot of student meetings, and every student I've met with will probably tell you, I say to them, I care that you finish your degree. That's your mandate for coming here.
Yeah.
So what can we do to help you finish your degree? And I say to them, if you don't finish your degree, it's not only you who's affected. It's your future wife or husband, or it's the mother and father you left at home, or siblings. So for me, I found student circumstances really break my heart. Yes, I have had a couple of cases where we were unable to assist them to the best of our abilities, and they end up having to leave the program. And that's very sad.
Yeah.
So on average, I think in the spaces for year 1 and year 2 MBBCH, I think I lose about 2 to 3 students every year. If you look at the broader scheme of from a class of 250, losing 2 to 3 is not bad, but that 2 to 3 is 2 to 3 families.
Yeah.
So for me, even that one student is bad.
Yeah. So how do you cope with the knock-on effect? Because you're also thinking of, okay, this is their family, this is their future as well.
Yes.
Like, how do you cope with it? Because on the one hand, you do have to do your job.
Yes.
On the other hand, you've got to have a heart as well.
Definitely. So it's hard not to carry that weight with me, but then I run. I run, I go hiking, I make sure that I live life just so that I can de-stress. And I try to find healthy ways of de-stressing. So, and I talk a lot. I go home and I debrief, and I go home and I vent to my family, I vent to my friends. I also see some psychologists just so that I can get this off my chest and I can come back on Monday with a clear mind and I can help the next person.
Yeah.
So that's the best that I do.
Yeah.
That's actually such a healthy way of coping because it's so easy to decompress, but in a negative way, going into like substance abuse
Most
or just neglecting your relationships. And having that sort of like healthy balance is such an important aspect. And why do you think especially like in med school or like difficult degrees, why do people relapse, or why do you think people just burn out in general?
I like that, what you opened with. We need to find healthy ways of decompressing. One of the other traits I've noticed in our students is isolation. I have my own theories around why students isolate when they start experiencing challenges. I've also in my life isolated. It's just because sometimes you're trying so hard on your own to deal with this problem in front of you. I'm sure you've heard people saying sometimes just walk away from a situation and your mind will clear up and you can come back, with a different mindset and you can attempt to deal with it differently. I think it's the same thing with our challenges in life. If you're facing a difficult situation and you're trying by all means with all your powers and might and abilities all on your own, it's going to frustrate you and it's going to isolate you more and more from your friends, from your family. So I'm saying if you find yourself, and we love saying, no, I'm okay, I just want to spend time in my room because I'm trying to study and everything. If you are losing time with your friends, that's a bad habit. If you're losing time with your family, that's a bad habit. You may not notice it because it starts small, gradually, but over time you start realizing it's been a week, I've not called my mother, my brother, my sister, or I haven't gone to visit my friend. So that's also a bad habit. What I'll say is try to realize if you are detaching from your friends and find the reasons why.
Yeah.
Because we can still study, the student 8 hours studying or 12 hours study, you can still study 12 hours and still find time for your friends and your families. So if you're losing time with your friends and your families, something with that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Put a bit more effort to just call that person. One day, as your break during studying, go see Justin for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Walk to his room if you live at Res. If he's at home, ask to meet with him at a coffee shop somewhere for a few minutes and go back to Res or wherever you live and just continue studying. Isolation is the worst thing that happens to us, even us as staff members. Even myself, I found that at some point I was isolated. So maintain that social life, maintain that friendship, maintain those friendships. Trust me, they will carry you through the hardest times of this degree.
Yeah. I think especially with like your relationships with people,
Yes.
those are most oftentimes the thing that makes life worth living, you know, like
Quite happens.
as much as we're in the department to save lives, you know, you still got to live life as well.
And you need those people tomorrow to carry you. Listen, the saying that no man's an island, whoever came up with it, brilliant. We should give them their million or their flowers. Because indeed, no man's an island. Even in your practice as medical doctors, those who are doing pharmacy or whatever degree that you're studying, in your practice, you will need people. Today, I find that I know people at main campus in the exams office. I know people at faculty office in the OSS. I know people at the faculty research office. I know people in the assistant dean. I know people in public health. I know people in business school. Know people, because even if it's a small issue that you may have, I may have a issue with accommodation. I know someone at CHRL. I can contact them for help. So even within your practices, you may be specializing, let's say, in cardiology, and you can go in a different specialty. But at some point, you may need something that he's got. So those communities will carry you, even in that space, not just for professional purposes. In that space, when it gets difficult, just that friend that you studied with or that you remembered, you can call them and say, "Listen, I'm at Barra. You were at Barra 5 years ago, 10 years ago. How did you survive Barra? I'm struggling with Barra, or wherever you are." Or not even just about struggling. What about opportunities? Because you're like, listen, I remember in undergrad you were interested in endocrinology. I have a study research that we're doing. Would you want to participate in it? Or I have a patient who I think we can use your expertise on. So community goes a long way.
Oh, that's so true. On a lighter note, let's play a game.
Oh yes, please.
Okay. So it's called Real or Made Up Disease. So I'm gonna mention a couple of diseases. You have to say whether it's true or false, and I'm gonna say whether you're right or wrong.
So I'm not exposing if I know all the diseases.
No. And if you get it wrong, you have to explain what the disease is in your opinion.
Yeah.
But if I got it wrong, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the game.
Now how to explain it?
I'll do it with
That's
you
the
because
whole
I haven't read the script of this either.
So now I'm making my own disease that probably doesn't even exist.
Well, if it's not real.
Exactly. And someone listening says, "Are you sure you're supposed to be running our program?" Okay.
All right. First one. Foreign accent syndrome.
Foreign accent syndrome.
I think that sounds real.
I don't think it's a disease. I think it's just something we label.
Okay,
What's
it's
real?
real. It's a real thing, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Foreign accent syndrome.
Yeah.
How do you diagnose it?
Thank you.
I think they just come back with a foreign accent. I mean,
How do you treat it then?
Okay.
I know because like my dad as well. I mean, like every time I see him now, he just sounds more and more Australian with the accents. I don't know. I think it's like a proper.
I don't think it's a disease. I mean, okay, it's a disease, so let's not argue against it. But here's what I think happens.
Yeah.
Exposure matters. Because I've also noticed with me, I love languages. So having lived in Johannesburg since 2018, I am getting a bit fluent with isiZulu. Xhosa is still difficult. I can't even say the right word, Xhosa, but I'm learning the few words. I can speak Chivenda, I can speak Xitsonga. So I've learned that because I'm exposed to Venda-speaking people, Zulu-speaking people, I now speak a bit more of their language. So I think exposure and the environment is what then gives you that disease.
This is something that just came to mind actually. I know a lot of people, so they grew up, they've only ever been in South Africa, but somehow they've got the strongest British accent on the planet.
Yeah, so true.
How would you explain something like that?
Depends on who's in their circle. Let's look who's in their circle. So maybe they've got a British friend and they spend too much time with them. And also, if you find something interesting and fun, you want to know more about it, and then you want to, speak like that.
Yeah. So
So-
accent syndrome.
Foreign accent syndrome is diagnosed through a collaborative evaluation by a neurologist and a speech-language pathologist.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, because now you've got specialists.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
got it's a real thing. It's a real thing, apparently.
There it is.
Okay, next one. Academic collapse disorder.
Academic collapse. Which academic?
It just says academic collapse disorder.
I also want to say not real.
Okay. You're right. You're right. It's not a real thing.
I was gonna say.
But how would you explain it?
Okay. Because I said which academic. So with students, they'll say my academic life is not measured. So again, as an academic, maybe you're talking about me in my space, or where I'm looking at the academic program. That is it in a state of collapse. So that could be a thing. With students, it could be their academic life, whether they're unable to maintain a good balance, or whether their marks are decreasing. So that could also be another sign of academic collapse.
Okay. Next one. Alice in Wonderland syndrome.
I
Okay.
wouldn't go false.
That would be a real thing because
Okay.
that's a movie.
It is a movie.
Yes.
It's a very good movie. And you're right. It is a real disease. I don't know what that is, but
So
Alice in Wonderland.
syndrome is a rare neurological condition that temporarily distorts your perception of size, shape, and time.
okay. Next one. Spontaneous human combustion.
Ah,
False.
okay. In cartoons, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
So now let me think. I mean, cartoons are not just all made up.
I mean, they're inspired by
Spontaneous
someone.
human combustion. So is that a disease? I think it could be a phenomenon. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
a disease, but
I think in history,
yes.
maybe somebody has, you know,
Yes.
spontaneously combusted, but it's not a real disease. It's not a medical diagnosis.
Imagine if you're just worried, walking around worried you might just blow up right.
It's like, how would you
Yes.
diagnose it? It's like a genetic thing, or
I mean, what are the signs? Is it when you're
yeah.
angry, or I don't know? So what should you be afraid of?
Yeah.
How do we calm you down? We put ice on you, and then you cool down. Yeah.
Okay, reverse sleep paralysis.
Yes, I think that's the thing.
No, it's not.
Ah,
So what is
okay.
reverse sleep
Reverse
paralysis?
sleep paralysis. We do have sleep paralysis.
Please explain.
And actually, one of the former staff members from Physiology, Dr. Samantha Kerr, ran a study a few years ago looking at sleep paralysis, and I think one of the other aspects of looking at was spontaneous movement or uncontrolled movement during sleep. I remember she showed us a video of a husband and wife sleeping. They had to play it at a fast speed so that you can see that he does have spontaneous leg movement at night. So I thought, since that disorder exists, there could be also that. And the reverse could be. No, I don't know what the reverse
I
could be.
don't know,
Because,
sleepwalking maybe?
No, like voluntary, like, you know, consciousness while you're sleeping. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, consciousness while you're sleeping, that doesn't mean you're awake.
so is it like I'm sleeping but my eyes are open? Or I'm sleeping
No,
but...
you like all your other senses except for your sight, it's still there. So you know you're asleep, but you think you're awake. Maybe
Wow.
that's what it is.
That could be an initial disorder, actually.
Yeah, maybe we should do
Postgrad
research.
research.
into it.
Yes, postgrad
Yeah.
research.
There's always opportunity for research. We can look at, okay, who said this water must have a pH of 8? Let's look into, is it really a pH of 8? And we can look at, for example, let's bring back to student life. We can look at how do students cope. You just asked me how did I cope with tough times. We can look at how others cope. We all cope differently. We can do a setup on that and say those who are like me who don't drink coffee anymore, how do they cope? What are you living off? You're saying you're running, you're jogging, you're hiking, you don't drink coffee. So what are you also using? Then you can put me and then use those who are drinking coffee and say, does coffee give them more energy? Are they alert longer than me? Are they more productive than I am?
Yeah.
Could be a study. Maybe there is a study out there. So maybe you can search, is there a study on coffee versus non-coffee drinkers on productivity and alertness and stuff like that.
I'm pretty sure, like, I think coffee is like one of the most studied like substances like ever in humanity.
Yeah.
So there's definitely like a study for that.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Very, very interesting.
It's
Exploding head syndrome.
It's the same as spontaneous combustion.
But it also, I'm gonna say it's not a real disease, but it could be a phenomena or it could be a trait. You know how sometimes when they say someone doesn't blew their lid off or something like that. So it could be a behavioral trait based off of an event.
Okay, it's a real thing.
The real thing.
Exploding what now?
Exploding
Exploding
head syndrome.
So people's head exploded.
So it is a harmless, painless
Harmless.
sleep disorder where a person hears a sudden loud and terrifying noise, like an explosive bang, gunshot, crashing, anything, as they are falling asleep
Okay.
or waking up.
Okay.
Though it sounds alarming, it causes acute distress, and it's completely benign.
What's the cause?
Would that not fall into mental a little bit? Because now you're hearing
It is,
things.
Nah, it probably is, yeah.
Okay.
Probably like a schizophrenic sort of like a
Yeah.
episode sort of thing, yeah.
Okay,
It is quite interesting.
See, so then from that context, yes, it could be, it is a real thing if you're looking at that side of mental wellness and just, things happening like that.
Maybe something like a bit of PTSD as well.
Yes.
I know a lot of soldiers from war, generally they're over.
Yeah, and on all type of other traumas. For example, recently I had a car accident. I'm in March. I was not injured, but I found after that getting into a car was a bit scary for me. Or each time I was on the road and I had a loud bang, I would wonder, am I safe? So maybe it could be because of PTSD.
Could be.
Yeah.
Moving on
I
from
heard that as well. It's like on a less serious scale. Like for me, it's the potholes in South Africa, man.
yeah, I think potholes are the problem. Yeah.
Like when I was younger, I used to speed quite badly. This is on camera. Allegedly.
A metro police?
Don't implicate yourself, okay?
So okay. I used to drive without looking at the potholes, and then one day, within the span of a week, I popped a tire. 3 days later, I popped two.
Oh.
And then after that, I've just never ever gone like over 20 k's an hour. I was past the potholes. I'll
Driving
take my
is
time, drive around it, or if I'm going through it, I'll drive maybe 2 k's an hour. Like people walk faster than my car when I drive nowadays.
Trust me, I can actually vouch for him because he was my chauffeur last year.
Oh, okay.
And so basically every time we had like an event and we would say, hey Justin, can we go together? He was like, no, my suspension is cooked. So like we can't go. No, my tires are gone. We can't go. It is quite it's quite an interesting thing that you mentioned there.
like-
Potholes. We can just said about potholes. We know people's perception and their feelings around potholes, but we can say, is there a association between the number of potholes we have in South Africa and the number of car wrecks that people experience? Or even stresses. Maybe the number of potholes that we have in Johannesburg may be associated with the levels of stress. Right?
Yeah, I'd say, if I had to make an hypothesis, I'd say the more potholes we have, the more stressed we are. Same topic of like the PTSD. Have you ever seen any academic type of PTSD in students, or have you ever experienced some where like maybe you worked so hard for a test and it didn't work out, and then you're always carrying that on the back of your mind? Or maybe the reverse. Maybe you're just doing so well and now you're not trying as hard. Maybe you feel like that's going to catch up to you eventually.
Actually, both of them exist. Both of them exist in different students. So you've got a student who worked really hard, did not get the results that they got, and they're crushed. Like this one, nah, why should I try? And then you've got students who worked hard the first time, it paid off, and they're like, oh, I'm arrived. And then things have started going down. And I found that in both cases or scenario, it's a bit difficult to come back up. For example, the first one who worked really hard, did not see the result that they got, are demotivated because all the efforts, all the hours, the sleepless nights you put in to just not get the outcome you were looking for, demotivates. So it's hard to regroup and try again.
Yeah.
The one who worked hard the first time, got what they're looking for, and then relax a bit, but there's something missing where they don't realize, listen, the first results I got is because of hard work. Let me just repeat that.
Yeah.
And see if I can get the same results. Or maybe if I did 80% and I got 80% outcome, let me see if I can do 70% and see if it still gives me the same 80%. That means, okay, I'm still okay. Maybe next time I'll do 60% and see if I get the same 80%. Don't just go 80% effort, 80% outcome, then next time I'm like, nah, I'm fine. I don't need to do this anymore. I'll just rock up in the exam room and write.
Yeah.
So I've seen that in a lot of students. With staff, I think we're a bit more resilient just because we're a bit more older, no offense. So we bounce back faster. But it also depends on what you're going through personally. I know a professor from a different university who personally life was just not going well for him, and it was difficult for him to bounce back academically. And that professor struggled a lot just to handle your normal teaching load and normal research load until that professor got the right help that they needed, and they came back in the top of their game.
So speaking about bouncing back faster, you mentioned because you guys are more experienced, you guys are able to bounce back faster. What advice would you give to students that are in either of those boats? Like, let's say they worked so hard and the test popped their bubble, or they're just like on cruise control now that they've done it. what would be any practical advice for the students in each phase?
So cruise control, kudos to you if it's working for you. And I always say to my students, if it works, if it's working, if what do you say?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
There you go. Something, if it works for you, keep at it, but always try and evaluate it. Try and reflect a little bit. What can we improve? And that's why there's so many iPhones, even though they improve like one little thing, but for them there's an improvement. So what little things can you improve to just up your game a little bit? To the one who got popped by the exam, yes, we say bounce back. The question is just the tools to bounce back. So again, bouncing back is different for me, for you, for the other person. It's about what motivates you. For example, in 2018, during my dark phase when I wanted to quit, I found music helped. Not just listen to music, but I joined a choir. I can't sing, but I joined a choir. That's because I found being around them and listening to how they compose the music and how they arrange music. And yes, I attempted to sing. I just found it the most relaxing thing ever.
Yeah.
And I found music is very emotional because there's emotion that goes into creating music. Then there's emotion that goes into singing the music. So I just found being in that space where people get emotional and in touch with their emotions allowed them to just let go of what I was holding. And I'm still here. So find what helps you bounce back. It's music. For some people, it's soccer. For some people, it's just being around family. For some people, it's just talking about what they're going through. For some people, it's getting in touch with their spirituality, whether it's going back to God, going back to church, or just finding something to realign with their spirituality, or whatever it is that they believe in. But just find that thing. I call it, find the thing that makes you tick, or find the thing that excites you. Just if you put the books away, what excites you? For me, 2018 was the music. Just being with that choir, I can say this, they were called the KEF choir, they're part of KEF, and they actually recorded something in that year of 2018, and I happened to be part of them, so they were the first people to put me on YouTube, or were they? No, I think so. I don't know. I think another university was the first people to put me on YouTube for public speaking, because I did it in their talk. But I just found that helped me bounce back and reshape my perspective. So to that cruiser, kudos to you, but hey, now and again, just do a bit of check, do a bit of pressure check and improve a little bit. The one who's definitely popped and you're feeling, why must I be here? Find what used to make you tick. Maybe it's currently nothing makes you tick, nothing gets you excited, nothing makes you want to wake up in the morning. Go back and be like, 6 months ago or last year, what used to make me get up in the morning and get excited for the day? Go back to it. It's going to help you change your perspective.
As a fellow musician, I have to completely agree with you. You just need something to escape from everything else. Moving on from exploding heads to your explosive personality. In your opinion, why are medical students so scared of speaking publicly?
Are they?
No, I think so.
I mean, let's just put it this way. When you heard you were doing public speaking, we were quite shocked because normally everyone in the academic realm tends to shift towards research. You're more taking the opposite route and going full on out there.
Yes.
So, yeah, why do you think people are scared? And also, to follow on from that, what made you choose to go down this route? That's also like very interesting to figure out. Because I don't think, if you asked us 2 years ago, we would have never seen this coming.
Okay, so for me, public speaking is scary. And here's the thing, and I'm happy I'm saying it on camera, people do not believe when I say I am a shy human being. They say, hell no, like I'm very shy. If I were to classify myself, I'll say I'm almost an introvert. And they say, no, not you. You're outspoken, you've got energy. And I said, all of those things are what I use to mask that I am a shy person. So I think that's where I got over my fear of public speaking. I still get scared of public speaking. And I started getting exposed to being in front of people back at when I was a teenager at church. We were in Sunday school, and now and again they'd make you do a play. I think we played the story of Job and his wife and whatnot. I don't know. I think I was the devil or something. I don't know. But that exposed me to speak in front of people. And actually, that was the first thing that shocked my family, because they're the one who can attest I'm a very shy person. So when they heard that your grandchild is speaking at church, my grandmother was like, no ways, I gotta see this. And then she came to church to see me do that. So I just got over that fear by just getting more and more exposed to this public speaking, which answers your second question. That's why I'm now trying to go back to that, because I found having come to academia, having been in academia, you hardly ever get the chance to do public speaking. You go to classes, you lecture, I don't do a lot of lecturing because I run a program. You go to research conferences. You're lucky if you have 4 conferences in a year. You're mostly going to get 1 or 2 conferences. You're going to get 15 minutes to speak. Half the time, again, you're in a lab, you're with your students, so you hardly ever get to speak. So I'm going back to public speaking, emceeing, facilitating debates and school tournaments. I've been doing since 2018 because I'm finding it is helping me get over the fear of public speaking. People tell you, oh, look over their heads, or imagine they were naked, whatever. No, do it. Just go there as scared as you are. Still have a moment where you call the wrong winner and whatnot, or say the wrong surname and whatnot. You get better as you do it.
Yeah.
Now, with medical students or any other students out there, BHSC, pharmacy, nursing, you hardly ever get opportunity to speak in class. You hardly ever get presentations and whatnot. But when that opportunity comes, grab it. Be like, okay, I will speak. Even if you go there and you say, explosion of heads is not a disease, and they say, no, it is. Be like, oh, sorry, my bad. I'll go do my research. Next time when you come back, you're like, yes, and actually study in Europe and in whatever. But just do it.
Yeah.
One of the things is, as a medical student who's going to become a medical doctor, you will always present. You're going to present your patient to your senior doctors. You're going to present your patient to their family. You're also going to at some point have to present before a committee or a board to motivate for something that you want. Let's say you want research money, or you want to study a different rare disease that entails you putting maybe chlorine in our eyes, but you said it cures glaucoma, so you must convince that panel why that's going to work. So start now with small things in your group of friends. One day just lead, I don't know, something. Be the group chair for that day. Just do something. For example, recently one of our colleagues was retiring, not from UMI, but from a different field of things that I do outside of UMI. And they said, oh yeah, we saw you on Instagram. Be the MC. I was like, no, I came here as a guest. No. Be the MC. I was sweating. But I took it and we had fun. They were laughing. They enjoyed themselves. Just do it.
Yeah. So how would you cope with the nerves whenever you're in a just do it type of situation?
Funny thing is, you are never just before you start. I remember there was a presentation I was doing when I was in my master's. We were at main campus, and I so wanted to win the first prize. I was like, I want the 10,000 rands. And I remember I was so scared. My mouth was dry. I think my heart rate was, I don't even know how high it was. I could feel it in my what vein is here?
The internal carotid artery, the the jugular vein as well.
There we go. I think I could feel it. I don't know if that's correct, but I was like, I'm going to pass out. But the minute you open your mouth and you utter the first few words, good morning, my name is Edgar, and then you just flow. For example, another thing that people don't believe about me is I used to stutter. I still stutter. I think it's a disease, right? Or a condition. Yeah, so because of that, I avoid words that are a bit difficult. Let's go to presentations. Usually people say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I can't say that if I'm presenting.
Yeah.
The words ladies and gentlemen, I cannot say them. And if I try to say them at that presentation and I stumble or I mumble, it's gonna everything's gonna go down.
Yeah.
So I'll say, hello, my name is Edgar. I'll be talking about hypertension. I'm done. Then let's just disappear. And then I can give the talk.
Yeah. I mean, you did say the words perfectly right here, so.
Because I knew I am going to say them, and I'm saying them to demonstrate that they're difficult to say. So because I'm breathing and I'm saying them slowly, and I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. But in that presentation, you're thinking I've got 10 minutes, and I've got so much to say. Will I remember my speech? And again, someone like me, I write my speeches for my presentations, but when I go speak, I don't have the speech with me.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm shy, I feel if I look at the script, then they're going to see that I'm looking at the script. They're going to say he's reading. Now they will look at me. So I'm like, okay, draw away the notes. Just speak.
I think you made such a good point about just starting, especially like, when I was performing back in the days, my hands would just freeze up. But like what such a great advice is, not only like when you're performing, but also like life in general, just start. And then you're just going to go with the flow.
Second question
was about the danger of misinformation.
Let's go back to COVID-19. When the vaccines came out, how many people were like, not me? This is going to give us things we don't have. It's going to make us sick. It's going to do whatever. Firstly, there is a fear around the unknown. So we have to acknowledge that. So people are afraid of, I don't know what you're putting in my body. Can I trust it? So it goes back to, let's communicate it. What are the risks of not taking vaccines? What are the advantages of taking vaccines? Okay, what are the side effects that you may experience from the vaccine? And then try to weigh for them that, okay, you may get dizzy, you may get diarrhea, or you may get hot flashes. I'm just using random weird symptoms. But in the long run, what is happening is you are gaining immunity against something that is killing millions of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can we deal with it? Luckily, we're in the world of technology. Almost everybody has a smartphone. So just search for it.
Yeah. The thing is, there's so many different sources and pieces of information.
Wonderfully. So now on the different pieces of information, it goes back to what we did in your year one. The introduction of the course and the science and art of health learning, the component of information literacy was to teach students that every source of information that you get, try to verify it. And because I read something, I think it's Instagram, I'm thinking it was just for fun, for jokes. Someone said something about lemons and how lemons can help something. I was like, really? That thing? Lemons? So I went, Google, what's happening? And then it was like, no, there's no such. So verify information. Sometimes they say, if it's too good to be true, it probably is not, but just verify. But use verified sources. Google Scholar is there, Web of Science is there. Your teacher will tell you, don't use Wikipedia. You can use Wikipedia for definition, to say, define mycelial gravies. But for more deeper things, you can now ask Wikipedia, if I drink too much coffee, will I have a heart attack? Probably going to say yes.
No.
See, so use verified sources, especially if it's research stuff. Just like I said, web websites, Google Scholar, and a whole myriad of sources that you can use. That's why that course came in first year, to teach students how to verify and search for information and use it properly.
Yeah.
But also ask experts. Like if I don't know about vaccines, I can go to the dean.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very nice course to make, just even if you feel like it.
Okay. Moving on to one of our final games, medical hot takes. Yeah. So you must say, do you agree? Do you disagree? Or is that a dangerous statement? Okay. Are you ready?
It's a dangerous game.
It's a dangerous game. You shouldn't be talking about this. Number one, med school should be shorter.
What do you mean shorter?
We've
got like 10 floors.
5. I mean, it does look like a hospital as well, you know.
It does.
Yes.
I was on Maine the other day, and Maine feels like I'm going to an amusement park compared to being here.
I also felt that. And I've discussed it with, I can say, a member who works for the DLU, because they're also dealing with a lot of student activities and bringing those jumping castles on one of the campus. And I said, what about our campus? We never have any of those things. And she said, listen, number one, space. Our campus is rather small, so where would they put a jumping castle? At least now we've got a nice courtyard or entrance by the 4th floor, so at least that's happening. But number one is space. Secondly, foot traffic. If we look at the degrees we are hosting here at medical school, pharmacy, nursing, all of them, most of them have clinical work. So half the time, no one is here. The second years are here, and maybe some first years who must be here, but the rest of third year going up are never here. So it's like you're going to bring a jumping council and have like 50 people? No. So that's our challenge here, and we really don't have the space. Next to us is the water reservoirs. We can't even go jumping there. So but main campus looks fun.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Okay, so we're still good on 6 years.
So in terms of the degree, 6 years. Can we make it shorter? The question is, to what cost? So for example, now Camp 2, because we are doing MBSH in phases. Year 1, Year 2, that's my space. Camp 1, Camp 2, that's that space. Camp 3, Camp 4. Camp 1, Camp 2 has now been taken from 24 months to 18 months of just content and in-person learning on campus. The last 6 months of Camp 2 now becomes almost early clerkship, whatever you want to call it, or just early immersion into the clinical space. So how do you take 24 months of in-person teaching and learning activities and put them in 18 months? It's going to be tough.
It is,
So if we were to get to a point where it could be feasible to turn medicine into 5 years, you have to look at where we're going to make the compromise.
Yeah.
And why are we making 5 years?
Yeah.
Are we saying 6 years is too long? Because for me, the kind of model works. But again, it doesn't mean it has to work forever.
Yeah.
If someone's going to come up with a different model that can be shorter, why not? As long as we're not compromising the skills of the medical students you're training,
Yeah.
as long as we can ensure that that day one intern, after 5 years of studying, from a vet curriculum, because other universities have a 5-year curriculum, so from a vet curriculum, will we be confident and will we be on standard with the HPCSA? Because they also have to accredit us and say, what you're offering is what we have rubber stamped.
Yeah.
If we can do it and get all the checks and all the approvals, why not?
Yeah. Then again, there's the other side of the coin, because I know a lot of people want to make it shorter so they can graduate faster and everything.
Yeah.
Personally, I think 6 years works, because the first year, it gives you a bit of breathing space. It's like the only year you actually get to have a good life balance. You know,
Yes.
after that, you're kind of stuck in the hospital the whole time. So
So you get
it's
the
good
uni.
to have the uni experience.
Yeah, you get
at
the
one
uni
point.
experience, but like you can do the academics, just on the back burner, sort of.
First years can go play with jumping castles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fourth years cannot, because they're somewhere in Barra or Charlotte or wherever. When they go home, they want to study, they want to rest a little bit. And sometimes they come back from those rotations around 4 p.m. The castles are all gone.
Yeah. Sleep is more important than studying.
Almost definitely. If I say otherwise, I'll be fired. But really, sleep is more important for a lot of reasons. Number one, health reasons. Secondly, cardiovascular diseases. We need to rest. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, everything. Stress, and just overall general well-being. We need to sleep.
Yeah.
Studying is important, so don't sleep throughout the whole curriculum and think
Yeah.
you're going to pass. But let's strike a good balance. That's why there's 8 hours of work for some people. Others have 8 hours of studying or school, whatever. Then it's 8 hours of rest. So
Yeah.
try to have a nice
I think
balance.
that's what my dad told me. It's just like 8 hours sleep, 8 hours hard work, and 8 hours of just your free time.
Awesome.
The other line I also heard from students, I want to see how much you agree with this one, is sleep more than you study more than you party, and party as much as you can.
Hide as much as you can, please. Hide
Yeah.
as much as you can. And I also say to students, listen, explore. Explore the city, explore your life, explore your own limits within safe bounds, please. Within safe bounds. So hide as much as you can. And then the second one was
Yeah, I think it's study more than you party, and then sleep
sleep more than you study.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're studying habits are giving you proper, sufficient results. For example, in my year one, my roommate was an 8-hour sleeper. He did not compromise on his 8 hours of sleep. And he still got his results.
Yeah.
He still maintained his pass mark, and he still had a life. He was a big soccer fan, still is a big soccer fan many years later. I won't say what team he supports, but anyway. But he found a good balance with 8 hours of sleep. Generally, I cannot sleep for 8 hours. I don't know what happened. I cannot sleep for 8 hours.
Too long or too short?
It's too long.
Too long.
It doesn't matter. Let's say, for example, I can have a very long day where I started my day, let's say at 5 a.m. in the morning, and it's been a long day of doing whatever I'm doing. I'm in the field, I'm doing whatever. I get home, let's say around 9, go straight to bed. Without a doubt. By 2, 3, I'm going to wake up.
Oh, wow. How do you do it? Because I'm
I
like
don't
your
choose to.
roommate.
The boy just goes like, we are awake. I'm like, really? I need more hours of sleep. But the boy just wakes up.
It's a very, very nice talent to have.
It's horrible. Let me tell you why. Many years ago, I wanted to participate in a sleep study by Physiology with Prof. Schumacher. I can never say her proper surname, but Karine Schumacher. And the criteria was you need to sleep minimum 6 to 8 hours. And I couldn't do that. And he said, no, something's wrong with you. Go see a doctor, let's get you some sleeping pills, and maybe that could help. We just need to just regulate your sleep for the next 2 weeks. If you can sleep between these hours, you'll be fine. Even with sleeping pills, I still could not sleep for 8 hours. Then the doctor said, no, take them about 2 hours before you go to bed. So if you go to bed at 10, take them around 8. If you sleep at midnight, take them around 10 o'clock. That still did not work. I cannot go to bed before midnight. Doesn't matter how much I try. I will get home around 5-ish and do what I need to do, have supper, listen to podcasts, whatever I need to do, and I'll say, okay, 10 o'clock, it's downtime. You know, we start putting the laptop away. Oh, I'm gonna find something to do. Or I'm gonna remember a report. I'm gonna remember someone's something that I need to just plan for tomorrow. Then before you know it, it's 1 a.m. and I'm putting my phone down, or I'm putting my phone on D&D, and then 5 a.m., 6 a.m. we're up.
Yeah, that's incredible, and you still managed to function very well.
But it's not good.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to not do it.
Yeah.
Pills do not work. Even when the body is exhausted, I will sleep for those 4 or 5 hours, and the body will say, "We are rested. Let's go on with the day."
Yeah.
I mean, if it works for you, then
Yeah, it's one of those. Maybe
So to those listening out there, please don't do it.
Yeah.
If your body wants 8 hours of sleep, give your body what it wants. In my case, my body just wakes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine I'm the exact opposite. Like mine, if it's less than 9 hours,
You won't
I will
function.
be a zombie. Like, yeah, so that's why it's a miracle that you can do in maybe 5-6 hours of sleep.
Yes.
So that's one of those count your blessings where you can.
AI will replace parts of medicine.
No. It will assist medicine.
I like that. Yeah. I like that.
Replace? Hell no. Medicine. We found medicine. We're gonna leave it here. There was a series that tried to go back. I think it was called. I forgot the name, but it's talking about medicine in the 1800s. I'll find the name. I'll share with you, and then when you publish this, just write the name there. I found it a very interesting show. I love all medical shows, but this one went back in the days. Then they did not have anesthesia, and then if you just injured your leg, maybe you fell down something, they just cut it off. Because for them that was the best way to save your life. And it made sense, but this doctor was like, no, there's gotta be better ways of treating stuff. And so that was back in the 1800s, I think, or maybe 600s. I need to get the timing right. So medicine has evolved to what it is today. Today you've got robots performing surgeries. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 50 years? I know. So medicine will always evolve, will always be here. AI is going to assist in medicine. It may make us a bit lazy at some point, but it's going to assist, not replace.
Yeah. But this brings me on to the next hot take then, kind of relating to it. The unemployment rate for doctors, especially in South Africa, it's exceptionally high.
Yep.
There's a head of one of the departments. I won't say which hospital, which department. But I remember somebody asked them a question, and they said, like, with the unemployment rate for doctors, is there any light at the end of the tunnel for us? And what we got told is, yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But that's a train coming right at you. Where do you see the career prospects for medicine, especially in South Africa?
Medicine, again, you'll never not need medicine. You'll never not need doctors. The world population is growing fast. AI technology is bringing different routes of employment or careers we've never imagined before. Now, the unemployment rate of medical doctors, we need to then contextualize it within the unemployment rate within South Africa overall. I was looking at a paper that was looking at different provinces and their rates, or I think there's something on YouTube, I don't know. But each province is different. And I remember looking at something, either the Eastern Cape or Northern Cape, and they're way above 50, almost 60% of unemployment rate, youth unemployment rate. Okay, so if overall the unemployment rate is that high, it's going to also be high within certain sectors. Again, whether be it medicine, whether be it retail, agriculture, whatever, it's going to be high relative to where the overall number is. I asked this question to somebody, and I said, again, with this high rate of unemployment in our medical doctors, given how many medical schools we have and the number that are graduating every year, this was 2018, 2019, I said, why are you guys saying there's shortage of doctors? Because at the point where we were told there aren't enough doctors. And then that professor said, no, a lot of them are migrating. So within South Africa, we are losing them because they're going overseas. Okay, now we have a situation where we don't have money to pay them. It's not like we don't need them. We need doctors. If you go to hospitals, they'll tell you about how they are understaffed, how they are overworked. So we have the need for doctors. But since this is a government-regulated field where it's government who employ doctors, we're struggling to find placements because the government is saying there is money. I think those in private practice, those who are fortunate enough to go private practice, might have a different experience. But I think it's where we need the government, where we are having issues like your bigger hospitals, your Barrows, your Helen Joes, and whatever, are the ones that are overworked and understaffed. So there are doctors who you can employ, even if you employ. There's doctors whose skills you can use because you need their skills, but where's the money to pay them?
Yeah.
So the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm not that politically inclined, but I would say it needs all parties to come together.
Yeah.
Mostly as we are looking at our government to say, government, what are you doing to meet the need? Because if there aren't doctors, people are sick, people are not getting well, that affects economy, that affects a whole lot of things. I mean, if someone can go, if you're a bus driver and you can go to work and your bus takes people to the hospital, let's say the nurses, the doctors, then that means that day those nurses must find a means of transport. If you are in agriculture and you are sick and you can't get help because there aren't doctors and your job is to produce the cabbages and spinaches we eat, you're affecting a whole lot of. So do you see where these things are related? So we need government to come together and say, how do we bridge the gap? How do we help employ these doctors? And also even in other fields that do need people to be employed, agriculture or retail or whatever.
Yeah.
And you spoke about migration, and it's such an important factor because in South Africa, you're sitting on such a valuable commodity. You have such competent doctors as well. And when you talk about migration, having a South African doctor is such a valuable commodity for them, because not only because like of our medical system or like medical education system, you're producing competent doctors, but not only that, you're producing very experienced doctors as well. So I was at the ED. Come challenge Joseph. Anyways, so we were at the ED, and basically we talked to this other EMT. He was stretchering in an individual, and that person was actually from Australia, your fellow countryman. And
South African a lot, guys.
okay.
South Africa.
And he was like, I've been here for like a week now, and in this week alone, I've seen more cases than I would see in 2 months in Australia. And it's just like that experience in general is like so important.
Yes.
Moving on to like,
Before we move on though,
yeah.
Just following on for like the unemployment stuff.
Mm.
So obviously advocacy is important. So part one would be, what can we do? What are the best routes to advocate to maybe get the situation to change and be better? But whilst things are the way they are, is there anything we can do, especially as Wits students, to maybe get that Wits edge and get those limited employment spots?
Listen, that gives you the edge. So you will always stand head over shoulders over whoever you compete with. But for advocacy, it goes back to the different heads of departments. I'm not a head of a department. I'm talking about divisions within the clinical space, like head of surgery, head of neuro, head of whatever. It goes to the head of departments. It goes to the hospital CEOs. Some hospitals have directors and board members. It goes to those, and then to the government.
Yeah.
So it really needs everybody to come together. Now, the question could be, where will the money come from? I don't work for National Treasury. I don't know where they get the money from, but the money comes always from South Africans, right? So do you increase taxes? Apparently, not apparently, but according to research, the current backbone of taxpayers is a very small amount when you compare to the large population of South Africans. So do you then continue milking these people? What do you do? So it's a very complex, difficult conversation to have. But I think our heads of departments are already advocating for, we need more staff. Because if you've got a well-balanced staff ratio, people are not burnt out, are not overworked. People don't lose joy over the work they do because, listen, I love my work. I love my current job. I love what I do every day. But on that day when I'm so tired, I am on the edge. I am irritable. Everything just drives me off the wrong way. Not because I hate my job that day or not because I hate my student, just because I'm tired. I am pulling from nothing. But if you've got a nice ratio of staff to patients, then your staff will want to stay. We will not have issues where we are told doctors are mean or nurses are mean or there's patients being neglected and someone lost their life a few hours ago, their body's still there. You can have people who are well rested, who are happy where they are because they feel supported. They feel
Yeah.
seen. They feel that I'm needed, but when I need the hospital, I am a priority. And again, that goes to higher up because hospitals do fall under government rules. So it goes to the ones who are overseeing us, government, listening to what I call the worker bees. Your HODs, your doctors, your nurses, your ever, just listen to their needs and say, okay, you are bringing this need. Half the time when you bring a need, we have a solution to the need. We have a suggestion. So listen, we suggest try this for our hospital. We'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then go back and say, okay, what will it cost us to give you what you need? Cost in terms of money, and also return in terms of the well-being of South Africans.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think our HODs are really doing an amazing job there. Our deans and our VCs are doing an amazing job there. The government just come to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then what can we do as vet students? I think already vet students come with that advocacy. When I came to vet, it was just no, I won't say when because then you know when I came to vet. But let's go back to fees must fall. A lot of universities fight about who started it, whatever. I was not at vet when fees must fall happened, but when I was, that was the people that we saw on TV and everything. They were the one pushing it. It may have started somewhere else, but in the media space where I was, what I saw vet students. I remember back then I forgot her name now, but I think it was a female assistant president, and she went to work. When she left this, she went to work in legislature. I remember looking at her and saying, "Oh wow, that young person is saying what she's saying to these people." Wow, I was impressed. So vet students already have that fighting edge. So maybe we can collaborate with our HODs as they also take this higher up with government. And I'm pretty sure there's also little small pockets of students who are already starting something to say, how can we ensure that, number one, we get employed and we stay employed?
Yeah.
Because I can say it's about skills. It's not just about skills. You can be the best student ever, you can be the best intern ever, but you also need to get paid.
Yeah.
So if you're the best intern and then the government says there's no money to pay you, you're going to go home. So if I say be the best student ever, be the best Betsy ever in terms of competency and your skills, yes, but if you go there and you're not employed, you still stay with your best skills.
Yeah.
So again, it requires collaborative efforts. Students, our HODs, our hospitals, our government. Maybe private practice can come in a little bit. I'm just not sure what role they can play, but they can also come in a little bit. And I think together we can really try help, even if it's just a small portion. It'll go a long way.
Okay. Speaking on advocacy and your passion for just being involved and helping your community, what's changing in the African health trends, and why should we care about cardiovascular disease?
Yes, please. We should have opened with that. Okay. So what is changing is we're seeing an early onset. And fast progression in cardiovascular diseases. Another word I can't say properly because of my stutter. I have to say it very fast, or I need to breathe as I say the word. So cardiovascular diseases, I struggle that word. I usually just go for CVDs. Okay. So early onset and fast progression. It is happening. For example, if you look at obesity, diabetes, it is happening as early as in our teenage years. It's a study by Professor I love so much, won't say their name because they're in a different university, but they're focusing on teenagers and what's happening with CVDs in teenagers. So it's happening earlier, it's happening faster, which means we've got what we call premature mortality. So people are dying earlier than we expect them. I almost went into public health just for surveillance and for protection of, because I also find it very interesting. So that's also happening within our culture, within where we are. A big contributor to it is westernization, modernization. I said this in a radio interview that I read a lot about westernization, urbanization, and its effects on CVDs, NCDs, and just life outcome. I read so much about it that when I lived in Joburg, I'd forgotten about it. Here's how. You read so much about something because you're thinking I heard. It's not where I am, because I was still not in Johannesburg. I was in the rural areas reading about it, that, okay, urbanization, westernization, lack of physical activity, eating processed foods, high sugar intake, alcohol abuse, smoking. I saw those as city lifestyle, because even the papers I read, especially around CVDs, hypertension, whatever, will say that is the biggest contributor. And then I came to Johannesburg, And I was writing my master's, and I was writing the effect of urbanization. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm now living in it. So actually, I just went out and observed it. Fine, but westernization still plays a role.
Yeah.
But now someone asks, if you're saying that, Edgar, are you saying then in the communities, in the villages, are we still having low rates and prevalences of NCDs, CBDs? No, we are not. We're also having increasing rates there. Because now westernization is not just limited to Johannesburg, Cape Town, whatever. We are bringing it back to our villages. What do I mean? When I now go home, after seeing how we live here, how we eat here, what we do, I want to introduce that in my village to my family. So I'm bringing the food we eat, I'm treating our food practices, our behavior, I'm bringing it in the villages. So now I'm exposing them to this lifestyle and its risks. So they also develop hypertension early, diabetes early, obesity early. What's important? What do we need to? Awareness is key. Another thing I read about many years ago, before I came to Johannesburg, about low prevalences and low awareness of hypertension and other NCDs. It still exists, unfortunately. People are not aware that they may have developed hypertension or they may have a diabetes or some form of hidden NCD like chronic kidney disease. Obesity, we see it. But other things are hidden. So low prevalence is still an issue. So because of low prevalence, then it contributes to the progression. It contributes to the premature death that we see. And if we go into the grand scheme of things, premature death affect the economy because it is the working class. Ages from 24 to 45, almost 50 are the ones that are experiencing this premature death. That is the working class. Because some people will retire at 50, 55, and obviously 60 is the retirement age. But it is the working class that we're losing to these diseases. So again, that affects our economic growth and other things. What can you do in the communities? Again, smartphones. We can take advantage of our smartphones. It really doesn't take much to search what is hypertension, what is diabetes, what is obesity, and other NCDs or CBDs. How do I prevent this? If you don't have a phone, just worry about your life in a good way. Just say, am I eating well? Am I exercising? Am I taking care of myself? Am I on the goal to live until I'm 80 or 90? God, I want to live until I'm 90. That's my goal. I want to get to 90. Apparently, 70 years was what we were given to live. We were given to live up until 70. Beyond that, it's a bonus. They want 20 years of bonus. So how I live matters. There's obviously other things you can't predict, like cancer, accidents, other things that you can predict. But if you just try and live right, people are also afraid of hospitals or clinics. Just to walk in a clinic and just get your blood pressure measured, get your finger pricked for that glucose test. People are afraid of that. I did a radio interview recently. I won't say who they are, but after that interview, someone sent me a voice and said, "No, I won't go there because they're going to give me diseases I don't have." We can't give you what you don't have. We're just going to measure your blood pressure, measure your blood glucose. If indeed both of them are high, they are high. So there's also this notion that hospitals or doctors give people things they do not have. If you watch medical programs, there's cases where people, misdiagnose people for cancer so they can, milk money out of them. We are not there yet. But just a normal clinic, measure your blood pressure. They will tell you that, "Hi, Edgar, it's a bit high. Watch what you eat. Work out a bit more and do this." It's 5 minutes. But on that note, there's also something called white coat hypertension. You should know that.
White coat hypertension.
Yes. So it's the anxiety you get by visiting a hospital. So because of that, your blood pressure goes up. So when they measure it in the hospital, it shows that you're hypertensive. Once you leave the hospital, a few minutes later or a few hours later, if I measure your blood pressure wherever we are at the park at your home, it's lower. I think maybe that's what they say. "You see, I don't have hypertension because the nurse said I have it, but you said I don't have it." No. There's something called white coat hypertension. You're getting it because of the anxiety of where you are. So you may not have hypertension, but in that space, I thought you had. That's why my master's and PhD used what we call 24-hour blood pressure monitoring. So I measure your BP over 24 hours so I can see when it goes up, when it goes down. It also gives me an average blood pressure. So I can say, actually, you don't have hypertension. You've got white coat hypertension because of the setting. There's also masked hypertension. Now, that's a bit more dangerous. Masked hypertension happens that by calling it masked, we're saying it's covered. We don't see it. So you come to the hospital, clinic, wherever, we measure blood pressure, everything's well. When you living your life during the day or even at night, your blood pressure is consistently high. It's masked hypertension. How can we pick it up? 24-hour monitoring.
Yeah.
You can see where it is almost up.
Yeah.
There's another one called nocturnal hypertension at night.
Yeah.
Even the one at night has got different elements. The one I did for my PhD was called isolated nocturnal hypertension.
Yeah.
It just meant during the day you are fine. You can come to the clinic, we measure you, fine. 120, 117, whatever it is, you're fine.
Yeah.
You go home, you sleep. Instead of your blood pressure going down, yours go up.
Yeah.
So, but these things we pick them up as more and more people go and get tested, go and get measured. Right now, from May up until the end of August, is hypertension awareness. There's May measurement month. So usually it's supposed to be in May, but they've extended it from May to end of August.
Yeah.
People are going to be setting up stations at malls, at complexes, at sports centers, just to measure your blood pressure and just check, are you well?
Yeah.
I say to everybody, take advantage of those things.
Yeah.
Go get your blood pressure measured. Within Wits,
Yeah.
we've got those initiatives where I think the STEPS program also does that, where they set up in our foyer. They also go to main campus. For that week, they measure our blood pressure, our cholesterol, our glucose. They even do HIV testing. Take advantage of those things so that you can know early on if you are at risk of anything and not take care of yourself. So we are too forever.
That's a very,
It's alright.
very good
Okay. Just,
explanation. Yeah.
do you have anything
so-
else?
Okay, so just on the cardiovascular things, what lifestyle recommendations would you recommend?
Okay.
As I know you say you could always Google, but at the same time, asking the experts is always the best.
Yes. Not the expert, just a graduate here, but anyway, it's my fault. So lifestyle is. Let me go back to this lady that I was giving advice on who says she's got hypertension. So in my advice to her, whatever I was recommending to her, I said the goal is for you to still enjoy your life. For example, you hear people saying, "Stop eating salt," or "Stop eating too much oil," or "Stop eating sugar," or whatever. To whoever out there who were told stop eating salt, no, the body needs sodium. So don't quit salt. But moderation is what you need.
Yeah.
You also hear people saying, if your cholesterol is high, stop eating red meat or stop eating meat, only eat white meat, like your chicken, your pork, your whatever, your fish. Moderation. Because I can say, go exercise. What if that's all you do? You just wake up and run the whole day. That's going to be bad for you.
Yeah.
What if I say to you, okay, stop eating meat and now all you eat is just spinach and cabbage? No, meat also has components and nutrients that the body needs that we can't get from plant-based products.
Yeah.
But for me, moderation. If you're gonna say I'm gonna watch my weight, work out a bit. People will say, but what do you mean work out? Must I go to the gym? For example, as I run, I jog. I've never been in the gym. I have never. I've been saying I'll join the gym for the past 5 years. Maybe I need a gym buddy. I'm not join the gym. But workout is in different formats. Just walking fast. Walking over here, I had to walk fast because I was in a different campus. Just walking fast. Just one day, just take a 30-minute walk. Jog a little bit. Just one day, see if you can jog a little bit. Just try to I say to them, get your heart in the habit of always pumping more than normal. Now and again.
Yeah.
That walk, that jog will just get your heart pumping. Because you're also trying to keep your arteries and vessels a bit more elastic. You also running in itself is good biologically because of other hormones that are released as you run, and also for bone health and other things, stuff like that. So workout is good. Watching what we eat. I'm not saying quit the ice cream, quit the other food that you're eating. No, if you love your ice cream, love it in moderation. You can have ice cream Monday to Sunday and that whole 2 liter of what's that famous ice cream that people love?
Tin roof. Yeah.
See? So don't have 2 liters of that ice cream every day. Enjoy it. And now and again miss it. Like, it's been maybe 2 weeks that I've not had ice cream. I miss ice cream. I crave some ice cream. So moderation. If it's salt that they said you have an issue with, put it in your food in moderation. There's some studies that are saying raw salt, like uncooked salt, is a bit more harsh to us than if you cooked in your food. Maybe you're that type of person who just loves, drizzling it on top of your salad or whatever. In moderation. People who say pink salt is safer versus white salt. No, salt is salt.
Salt is salt.
It's made up the same elements. Salt is salt, right? If maybe it's sugar, cover sugar. If it's about oil, I think people believe oily food will make you fat. Sugar makes you fat.
That's an exception.
Sugar makes you fat. Oily food will just increase your cholesterol and risk, also the risk of clogged arteries, like the development of atherosclerosis or atherosclerosis, that's plaque formation.
Yeah.
But sugar makes us fat because the body stores sugar.
Yeah.
And then the sugar then gets sent into fat, and then we gain weight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go drink a whole 2 liters of olive oil. No, I'm saying watch your oil. There's also oils that we are told are healthy, like in your olive oil, your sunflower oil. Watch how much you put in your food. Some nutritionists will tell you, instead of deep frying your chicken, maybe try grill it or try air fry it. Whatever.
Yeah.
So even the food preparation method matters.
Yeah.
But I must not be oblivious to other things.
Yeah.
We spoke about unemployment.
Yeah.
Unemployment then leads to poverty.
Yeah.
So in poverty-stricken areas, then I can't just say to them, grill your food or air fry your food. Maybe they don't even have an air fryer. But wherever you are, whether poverty-stricken, affluent life, watch how you prepare your food. Watch how you eat.
Yeah.
If you're a lover of steak, love your steak with some greens around your steak.
Yeah.
If you're a lover of, in the black community, we love tripe. Others call it malamahodi, but they taste out like a cow. Yes, there's even called Mhodi Monday. If that's what you love, and I think there's a lot of fat.
Yeah.
If you love your tribe, have it in moderation, but watch what you eat.
Yeah.
Exercise. Watch your sugar. Studies are saying also alcohol. I'm not saying quit your alcohol. Yes, I would love if you quit your alcohol. But hey, I'm not God. In moderation.
Yeah.
Have your alcohol in moderation. Smoking also has some effects, although my research showed that smoking has what we call acute effects, so the effects wear off. For example, with my participants, we saw that smoking increases the blood pressure, but it's acutely. After a while, it goes down. But smoking, we all know it's a risk for development of cancers. So, and then cancer is part of NCDs. But just all these things: diet, exercise, sugars, alcohol, smoking. Find your group. Find where that's the center for you. That okay, now and again I jog. For example, I say to people I jog. I don't jog every day. Because of my busy schedule. At most, I can do it twice a week. It's still enough. If you do it once a week and it's a bit more intensive, it's still enough. But the goal is be consistent. So I try to run at least every Saturday if I'm around. If I'm not around, I'll try to put it on during the week, whatever. But be consistent. Even in your food. Develop a culture of worrying about, am I eating enough veggies? Am I eating enough yellows and greens? Even in your juice, your ice cream, your cakes. I love me some cake. I love cake. I do watch how I eat my cake. So all context can look at these factors.
Okay. Well, that kind of reaches towards a conclusion now. Our last segment is called Rapid Fire Chaos.
Rapid fire chaos.
So
And our lives already chaotic.
it is. So we're just gonna make it a little bit more chaotic, just because Joburg is a fast lifestyle, and that's just how we move over here. I'm gonna just ask a few questions, and you're gonna answer in 1 or 2 words.
Ooh.
First one.
Do you think I'm a 1 or 2 word person?
No, but try your
I mean,
best.
first year teaches us conciseness,
Yeah, you gotta be concise. Hardest subject to teach.
Mathematics.
Most intimidating specialty.
Neuro.
Most overconfident students.
Medical students.
Fair enough. Worst exam season behavior.
Sleep deprivation.
Most dangerous amount of caffeine consumed. Okay. Most useful non-medical skill.
What do you mean non-medical skill?
Anything except medicine.
That's unfair.
It is.
Because then you're saying that the barista who makes our people's coffee. No!
But
I refuse
what
to
do
answer
you
that question.
Okay, moving on.
Sure, you didn't say public speaking there.
Which we are doing.
Which we're kind of doing. And the last one hill that you'll die on. It can be about anything.
Physiology.
Physiology.
The love
There
of
we go.
physiology.
Okay, folks, you've literally heard it over here.
Perfect
Thank you,
person for the
Doctor.
physician society.
Thank you, Dr. Edgar. You were very, very concise. You were very knowledgeable. And Justin, anything from you?
Yeah, this was a very lovely interview, very lovely catch up. Thank you for making the time to see us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I know.
Fun. The games were fun.
Yeah, I think we agreed on 45 minutes.
We're close to 2
cameraman, what's the
hours.
time? 2 hours.
Anyways,
So, they say when you're having time flies when you're having fun.
yeah.
So this was a very good conversation, very fun, very entertaining, but most importantly, educational as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you, Dr. Edgar, for having us over. Well, for
coming
come with
over.
us.
I'm Shreyan, Nikhil behind the camera, Justin, Dr. Edgar.
I'm Edgar.
Thank you guys for
Thank you,
tuning
guys.
in. We'll see you next
See
time.
you in the next one.